All right, some of the sounds, sights, and sounds from last night. Liv Moods, representing the Rocky Mountains,
That's
representing
right.
the Mountain Time Zone,
Yep.
representing the Denver Nuggets. I mean, look, you told
Yep.
us about the Denver Nuggets last year. You told us before they won the championship that they were going to win the championship. And so last night was your opportunity just to kind of exult, just to kind of just let it all sink in. The Nuggets at home, first game since winning the NBA title in 5 tidy games in June.
hmm
First game at home, taking on the Lakers, the same team they swept in the Western Conference Finals to get to the NBA Finals in the first place. And Liv, I don't know about you. I do know about you. I do know about you. That's wrong. I was going to say, even watching that game, the Nuggets had control of it. So third quarter, they're up by their 11, they're 13. Then the Lakers go on their 11-zip run, and they make it a game.
Yep.
Even at that point, I was like, you know what? They ain't got it. They ain't got it. They ain't going to beat them. They're not gonna win this game. I was never, at any point last night, worried about the Los Angeles Lakers. We'll talk about them in a second. But I just felt like this was the night for the Nuggets. And
Yeah.
it probably, Western Conference wise, is probably the season again for the Nuggets. What'd you see? What'd you feel?
Yeah, I mean, I feel obviously great, but not naive in the fact that I know that it is only one game. Like Coach Malone said, he is going to get the best out of every team that plays this Nuggets team because they saw what they did last season in the finals. They saw how dominant this Nuggets team was. The target, every win will just get bigger and bigger. So there's a long, long road ahead. I am not a naive fan in thinking that they've just got it after one game, but something that I really loved watching about this Nuggets team, I was there last night. So not only did I get to bask in the banner being lifted and the ring ceremony, which was just the coolest thing ever as a Nuggets fan who's never seen that before. What I saw from the game perspective is that they have not lost. You know, everyone worries about that Super Bowl hangover, that championship hangover, and it really did not seem like they have any of that at all. They still have the chemistry, the teamwork is what makes this offense so unstoppable. And I think, again, we talk about Jokic a lot. And I think that the reason that we talk about Jokic a lot is not just from a talent perspective, but he's simply unguardable. There is no answer for Nikola Jokic. When he has a sloppy, crooked, one-footer floater that looks like it's going to a completely different part of the gym and then it's an absolute bucket, there's no way you guard that. But I think more importantly than that, we saw a lot of new faces on the floor finding their rhythm, finding their groove, a moment that I don't think people could see on TV, but I saw from being there. And I'm so mad I didn't get it on camera. We had Najee. He had the ball. He was on the perimeter. There were a bunch of guys open. More importantly, Jamal Murray was open under the basket. And Najee's looking around trying to figure out what to do. And Jamal looks at him and goes, shoot it. And I loved that moment because I feel like there is such a level of again teamwork that this team has. And I think what we saw with this Nuggets team offensively is that at one point or another you had either Jamal Murray or you had Nikola Jokic on the floor, and there was some on the floor coaching going on. And I think that is obviously going to be a very lethal thing for this Nuggets to use all season long, is that depth matters. And we talk about this with every team. We talk about it being an issue with the Suns down the road in the playoffs. But the depth, I think, is something that you start establishing now. So to watch Jamal Murray look at a guy that's not getting many minutes, didn't make a huge impact last season, saying, shoot it, find your shot. Like, this is your moment. Don't pass it to me. Yeah, I can make it. I'm right here. It's wide open. But find your shot. I really appreciated that. And again, we're seeing some really great moments from this Nuggets team. MPJ, his threes aren't landing. I just don't think that's his game anymore. Defensively, he was getting boards.
Hmm.
He was showing he was showing aggression on a different side of the floor than what we're used to with him. So everybody has a role. They all did their job. And it was exciting to see because, again, I don't think that last year was a one-time thing for this Nuggets team. I think they're building on a very newfound dynasty, which as a Nuggets fan, you got to
Yeah.
love to see.
And most of them aren't. I mean, we've had some one-time champions lately where they don't become championship hoarders. In the NBA, a
Right.
lot of these teams, they win one. Okay, we're gonna win at least a couple, two or three. And so, Toronto won one, but then Kawhi left, so that's not really a fair comparison. Then Milwaukee won it in 2021. They haven't been back since. But there are some teams, there are tons of them. The Warriors, the latest example. where they win one, take a year off, and they're going to come back and they're going to win a couple more, and they're just going to be in that championship conversation. There's no reason for the Nuggets not to be in the championship conversation again when your best players, your best two players, are both in their prime. So,
yep.
Like these are, you're not talking about a 32-year-old
together.
Jokic and a 30-year-old, right? And
together, yeah.
And a 30-year-old Murray, right? They've been around for a while. And I like what you said about depth too. Yes, depth matters. It's not that you got to be all that deep. You can have some shallow depth, and that will get you by. But you got to have somebody or a couple guys. Like some teams are 10 deep. Sometimes that's too much. That causes problems. Mm-hmm. Those teams usually don't have great chemistry when they're 10 deep because everybody feels like, well, listen, I'm the ninth guy. Yeah. I can play. You know what I mean? And you want to tell everybody who comes to the game, don't think just because I'm sitting here on the bench, I ain't got game. I could be out there, but coach is tripping or whatever. So you don't necessarily have to be 10 deep. 8 is good enough. Sometimes 7 really reliable players is good enough. And Denver can attest. Every championship team that I've studied, they always have a guy. They always have a guy who comes through and unexpectedly wins the game for you. Something like, ooh, where did he come from? Like last year it was Braun in the early games against Miami. I think it was game 1 against Miami?
Yeah, right, and we had obviously Bruce Brown was huge for the Nuggets last season. We lost him.
And Bruce Brown in the clincher.
But yeah, Christian Brown. You've also got I'm excited to see what Peyton Watson does. I think he's Bruce Brown, but a little bit more physical, a little bit more size there. But I think to your point, the depth, not only does the depth matter, but I think every guy on this Nuggets team knows that they play a role. I mean, you had Bruce Brown as the sixth man essentially, and he was probably more crucial. He was more crucial than an MPJ who was a starter. So I think even the bench guys know when it's my time, I have a job to do. I'm not just out here because they need to rest Jokic. No, I'm out here for a purpose. And I think that makes a huge difference. And honestly, KCP, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, I mean, he was a baller last night. So every guy on this team serves a purpose. And I think that's what makes this team so dangerous. We talk about chemistry matters. I mean, we see teams all the time that on paper, Bills Mafia, look really great. But if you don't have that chemistry, if you're not making it click, it doesn't matter. You can't, there's only so much you can do with talent if you don't have chemistry. Holley,
listen,
you know this.
She's starting early.
You know this.
She's starting early. Like, we're going to get to the Bills. Like, you can't. I mean, we're 9 minutes in. We're 9 minutes in. And she's like, okay, just want to let you. That's a tease.
Sorry.
Hey, Western New York, that's a tease. As she said, I'm coming for your necks. I'm coming for your necks.
I am totally coming for your necks.
My favorite is one of my favorite posts of the year, 2023. Every year, Liv, I go back and think about all the things I did, all the things I saw. And, sometimes it's a one-liner. Hey, I saw this movie. It was great. I heard this sermon. It was amazing. Or I saw this musician, this concert. Like, I went to this restaurant. It's like a year in, just things I experienced, things that I'm grateful for, things that moved me. And you're going to make my list. I saw this post. Bills Mafia, I'm coming for your necks.
I'm coming for your next, man. I'm sorry. They had it coming, though. They knew. They knew when that game. I'm sure that there was a lot of members of Bills Mafia that were watching that game against the Patriots, and they were like, man, a loss would really suck, but a loss will really suck if I go on Twitter and go to Liv Moods page right now.
No.
They knew.
They never got there. They never got there. They never thought a loss would suck. They never thought a loss would suck because they didn't think they would lose. But we'll get to them. We'll get to them later. I'll say this about Denver. One, championship ring, nice ring. Now I like the little draw out element. You just pull it out, then put it back in there with the banner. It's great. Now, it's not quite the Las Vegas Knights ring, which is the best ring. I'm going to put that on my list too. The best ring I've seen in 2023, the NHL's Las Vegas Knights, Golden Knights, where on their ring, now this is dope for Denver. That's a good looking ring.
Beautiful.
This color scheme.
Beautiful.
It's gorgeous. But the Las Vegas Knights, you can take off the top of the ring, and you can see the arena. It's like sick. The arena, and
that's sick.
There's a pendant because a lot of people are very self-conscious. You can imagine living very self-conscious. You're just walking around Denver on a Wednesday, and you just got this ring out there. You're like, okay, That's a little much. That's a little much for a Wednesday in Denver in October. So they have a part where you can make a pendant. It can just be a pendant instead of, So it's very classy. It's thoughtful, forward thinking. So not only is their ring great, their team is great. I'm going to tell you why they're a tough matchup. Now, it's not impossible. Every problem has a solution in sports. I really believe that. Just it's a solution. You may not have everything it takes to solve it, but there is a solution for it. The problem with the Denver Nuggets that I see, tell me if I'm wrong on this. Now, I've heard a lot of people say, Jokic is the best passing big man of all time. Well, of course he is. I mean, of course he is. I've seen the candidates. I was a little young, but I remember seeing, Bill Walton toward the end. He had bad feet then. He had bad feet at the end. So I remember Bill Walton on again, off again, practicing with the Clippers and then with the Celtics. I remember that. Good passing big man. Kareem could pass. Kareem, great passing big man. My guy Moses Malone, I don't think he could spell pass because he got the ball in. He wasn't getting it back. Okay, you give it to Moses, he just going up. So maybe he could pass. I don't know. He never did it. Not only is Jokic the best passing big man, the difference is, this is why it's so tough. It's imagine your passing big man with point guard skills, not point guard vision, but point guard skills. In other words, those dudes couldn't dribble too, Liv. He's got a handle. Okay, so he's got a handle. He's got a handle.
Yep.
He can shoot threes.
Yep.
He can board. He doesn't make obvious passes. He can make the obvious pass, but he also makes the pass that the point guards do, where you go, oh, damn, I didn't see that. Oh, what anticipation. That's what point guards do. So he's a point guard. So you can't really stop him anywhere on the floor.
You can't.
He's got vision all over the floor, and he's got size.
Yes.
So now you got two of those guys. You got a 6'3", 6'4" point guard, whatever Murray is, 6'5", and you got a 7-footer. Both with point guard skills. One of them big and one of them average NBA size. I mean, sorry.
I have to laugh when anyone that tries to argue that Jokic is not the best player in the league, I have to laugh in your face. And it will probably be the most disrespectful laughter you've ever heard spewed into your personal bubble. But I can't even, I cannot wrap my head around anyone that doesn't think he's the best.
What'd you say? Disrespectful laughing and all kinds of stuff. Disrespect. Hey, you know what, Gary? Let's bring it out. It was a vibe. It was a vibe last night in Denver. It was a vibe last night. Let's get to some of the more sights and sounds from Denver last night. Liv Moods right in the middle of all of it.
Always.
Hey, thank you for watching Brother from Another. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and do that now. Don't forget, you can catch us 3 to 4 weekdays on PeacockTV.com and on Sirius XM Channel 85.